Hello everyone, welcome to today's bookish video. The topic for today is memories and life transitions. I have 3 book recommendations by Kazuo Ishiguro: The Remains of Day, Never Let Me Go, and Klara and the Sun. I listened to these 3 books on Audible and they made me think about the human heart and about how life is unpredictable, yet the only thing you can rely on is that change will happen. Nothing ever stays the same, and that's why our memories are very important. We hold on to the things that are no longer with us in our minds. The Remains of Day, Never Let Me Go, and Klara and the Sun have interesting settings. The first is set in England 1956 and the second a dystopia version of the 90s, and the last is a science fiction dystopia future. All 3 books are similar in the way they are looking back on life and retelling the story of how the characters ended up to where they are at present. While the characters share their story, they highlight and acknowledge events that seemed insignificant at the time but actually had a huge impact on the course of their life. Feelings that were never realized or locked away surface, and the vulnerability makes the story relatable. First, let me share my thoughts on The Remains of Day. After all, what can we ever gain in forever looking back and blaming ourselves if our lives have not turned out quite as we might have wished? Stevens is a butler who goes on his very first holiday. All his life, this man has worked and never taken a day off. This is a big moment for him, and during his journey he explores what it means to be a good butler, while bringing back memories of his time at Darlington Hall. The thing that stood out to me about the character of Stevens is that he's very efficient and likes to perform at high standards when it comes to work. Yet when it comes to human interactions, he's very oblivious and misses the details behind the way people behave and the emotions behind their actions. During his time at Darlington Hall, he prioritized being a good butler. His strength was producing results and his weakness was acknowledging his human heart. So when he looks back on his life during the road trip, he said things like, "I know now I shouldn't have said that or done that." Stevens was not able to maintain social relationships. Laughing and relaxing were foreign to him. He struggled with understanding banter, and he was the type to plan out jokes thinking it was something that could be learned. Stevens only made this attempt because his new American employer wanted to be friendly with him, and his response to this was to learn about banter because he believed it would make him a better butler. Banter to him wasn't to create an authentic rapport, it was work. Stevens was also the type to miss out on love. Miss Kenton really did her best to send this man signals, but it went straight through him. Let me not be too harsh on Stevens, he could have just been an awkward turtle. However, I do believe that he was like this because of his influence growing up, and really, he's never relaxed. This trip exploring a small part of England and seeing a beautiful country view is the first time he realizes that there is life outside of Darlington Hall. Now, the next book is Never Let Me Go, which is actually my favourite of the 3. The problem as I see it is that you've been told and not told. You've been told, but none of you really understand. And I dare say, some people are quite happy to leave it that way. The best way to enjoy this book really is to go into it knowing as little as possible. The blurb doesn't really give anything away, and avoid any reviews that will spoil the experience. All I'm going to say is that Kathy H is in her 30s and going through a life transitional moment. She has been a carer for 12 years looking after donors, and she's about to end that period of her life. So that is what triggers her reminiscing, the fact that she's moving on to the next stage of life. Throughout the novel, she talks about Hailsham, the boarding school she attended in England, and how it shaped her life. Kathy H shares her school experience, so it's very much a coming-of-age story, exploring friendship, romance, secrets, and ambitions. I really enjoyed the narration style, the matter-of-fact way in which Kathy H speaks. Though it is clear she misses her time at Hailsham and is feeling nostalgic, her tone does not become emotional. Also, when she speaks, she highlights that she cannot be sure if this is how it really happened. It is a very mature approach to know that time has passed, so things can be forgotten and also altered. Another thing about her narrative is that she's not critical about herself or those she speaks about. When we look back on the past, we see things from the filter of the present. It is so easy to judge and be harsh on ourselves because we see things from the perspective of knowing the outcome. Yet when she's retelling the story, it is very neutral without bias or regret. Even though time has gone and it is too late, and she wonders what was it all for, it is not a story about wanting to change her memories. It is simply nostalgia for a moment she cherishes that has gone, but she's keeping alive through remembering. And finally, for the robo enthusiast, we have Klara and the Sun. Until recently, I didn't think that humans can choose loneliness, that there were sometimes forces more powerful than the wish to avoid loneliness. Klara is an artificial friend created to accompany children. When she meets Josie at the shop window, there was an instant connection. Josie chooses her and Klara accepted. Even though Klara was warned to not invest in the promises of humans, she believed Josie when they made a promise to go see the view of the sun together. This was not normal, and this set the tone for their relationship. The book explores the human heart, whether there's something that can be learned or if there's something that actually makes each individual special. Through the observant eyes of Klara, we are made to think, what does it mean to love? And when should we give up on hope? We watch the complex relationship between Josie and her mother because of the illness. When they made the choice to get Josie lifted, it caused her to become ill. They took a risk to give Josie a better advantage, however, it damaged her health. And so this made me think, what do you do when you make a right choice but it still leads to heartbreak? Over time, Klara kept surprising me with her actions and her personal will. It was interesting that a robot who's meant to be incapable of feeling emotions acts in the way Klara does. There is her naive belief in the sun, thinking it's capable of doing things that humans would laugh at. Yet she's so determined and ambitious, willing to do drastic things for the sake of improving Josie's health. The Remains of the Day, Never Let Me Go, and Klara the Sun are truly amazing books. I like them because they show the fragility of life. There's this quote that says, "The days are long, but the years are short." And it is about how life can seem slow, especially during mundane routines or challenging times. Yet one day you will look back and realize you've grown older and that stage of your life has passed. You will also notice that you've forgotten some of the things you kept dreading and wishing away because it really wasn't that important. And you will remember moments that you loved so much and hope would last forever, but unfortunately are gone. The beautiful thing about life is that it only happens once, and so these books have really made me become intentional about being present in my life and embracing opportunities. I'm not going to seek out the perfect formula for life and try to make sure I never hurt again. Because even when you try to do everything right, sometimes it just doesn't go as planned, like in Klara and the Sun. And I don't want to have an identity crisis and have a life full of regrets like Stevens from The Remains of the Day. I have started to journal again to help me remember my time on here, how I was feeling in the moment, the good and bad. I want to document it. My life will change because nothing ever stays the same, and growth is a good thing. So I don't need to be scared to let go of things that are not meant for the new season. My memories are precious, and the moments I cherish can live on forever in my mind. And so with that, we have come to the end of this bookish video. I highly recommend you get yourself a Kazuo Ishiguro book. They are life-changing. I am so happy to have experienced these books on Audible. If you're interested, sign up for 30 days trial and get one book for free. I have linked my books down below. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of them or have anything else to add to the points I've mentioned. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when I post. Bye! The first in rural. The boarding school she attended in England, and how. Another thing about her. Fuck's sake, happens. There's her naive belief in the sun, and there's her naive belief in, there's this quote that says, "The days are you." Kind of this. Kazuo Ishiguro. Wow. I'm so tired. I need to do my thumbnail now. Oh, wow. This is what happens when you haven't filmed for 2.5 weeks. It's like you just forget how to do basically everything. Okay, thumbnail time. So we're talking about memories. Should I like hold my head?